My business or my profession was real estate. This is my real estate office where we opened our first shop. And I thought, I want to find a product. And I was into health and wellness at the time because I had hurt my shoulder and I was taking CBD and it actually worked. And so I was like, really curious about it and found a hemp convention. We attended it and basically was amazed to learn all the science of the endocannabinoid receptor and to meet scientists and legislators and to actually hear Greg Abbott's statement that he was going to make Texas the #1 hemp state with HB 1325. And so we truly believe that to the point where my wife had left her career and I decided to take the front of our real estate brokerage and to open the shop that we're in right now. Currently we have 3 shops. We've been helping a lot of people, especially people that don't have a voice to advocate or not getting benefits from the VA right now, or just unique situations where they have a distrust for the medical system. Hemp has been around forever. It was used by our forefathers. It goes back to the Bible. Exodus 23 is cannabism. It's been used in our history, and the value of this crop should not be undermined just by the fact that it could replace every consumer product there is that's pretty much toxic. And then also it could all cannabinoids can pretty much replace all toxic pharmaceuticals. And so that's really what the fight is here, is it's really a fight against good versus evil, in the sense you've been warned about that old rod and serpent. He's coming for everybody. And you know this because you saw what happened in 2020. And there's no use in hiding from the elephant in the room. They can't hide anymore. And there's no use to skate around it. And anyone trying to ban this information getting out, y'all should be persecuted. That is misinformation. There are a ton of people that have a new symptom called neuropathy. There's a ton of people that have joint pain, fatigue syndromes, and brain fog. These things have a lot of commonality amongst the population today because 5.7 billion people took a toxic injection of nanoparticles. This is something that I think we need to take a pause on that. We need to increase the amount of availability of hemp, not ban hemp-derived THC. Hemp-derived THC is very important to the modulation of the release of an endogenous cannabinoid called an anandamide. And this is a bigger topic that basically a PSA to humanity that we need to protect the full spectrum of hemp. And this is something that's not understood. If you're going to ban THC, you're banning the full spectrum of hemp. THC is endogenous because there's only one plant, that's Cannabis sativa L. Lawmakers decided to take it amongst themselves before even knowing the existence of an endocannabinoid system or before even knowing that this is endogenous to humans, because the science is out now. We're learning as we go, right? The endocannabinoid system was discovered in 1990, well actually 1988. With that information, what changes have we really made? Well, we allowed a hemp program that's shown benefit, but now you want to ban it. It's wrong because, like I said, the science is out. Endocannabinoid system is endogenous to humans, and cannabinoids have an amazing way to help people with inflammation and anxiety without any toxicity. And the uptake of them is unique to the Homo sapien, to all mammals. If you ban this, you're going to affect the population of Texas, and this is how you're going to affect them. First thing is, the 7,000 hemp shops and all their 60,000 employees. And then the second thing is all the Texas veterans that are in debilitating pain, and hemp-derived THC is the only thing that works for them. And then you got to think about the people with cancer, the people that need nausea relief, or just these unique type of symptoms that we've been seeing that medical science truly doesn't have the answer for. But we want to placate to the lobby and essentially try to ban something that's helping everybody and try to expand some medical program that's really limited access. It doesn't actually address the problems, because you can't take 7,000 shops away in access and then boil it down to 3 locations, 5 locations maybe. And then the problem is, they don't sell the products that people want. 80% of all the products that people want, they want to ban, and that's the hemp-derived THC. So reality is, if you're going to redefine the definition of hemp in HB 1325, meaning that if you're going to change less than 0.3% Delta-9 by dry weight basis, you're going to effectively close all the shops, because the 0.3% Delta-9, it wasn't thought of overnight. It was talked about in the 30s. It was worked out in the 60s. And And then really it was studied heavily in the 70s until it took to the 2014 pilot program to actually implement it. And the 0.3% Delta-9 by dry weight basis, that protects the full spectrum of hemp. It also allows for an agricultural viable crop to where you can actually grow it and harvest it. It also allows for international trade. But the reality is, if you change that to any other type of variation like what they're doing in other states, you're gonna remove the efficacy of it, because the naturally occurring spectrum, that was creator made. If you bioengineer the plant and you don't understand the endocannabinoid system and you write laws that basically cause harm, this shouldn't be allowed, because endogenous systems should be protected underneath the Bill of Rights. If not the Bill of Rights, it should be put into legislation that endogenous systems should be protected, because these are things that are a right to humanity. These are things that actually are given to you. This plant shouldn't be banned. The THC is how you modulate the release of these anandamide that is endogenous to you as well. So it's hypercritical that we elevate the conversation, and that all senators and House of Representatives actually do a deep dive on the endocannabinoid system and they learn about the CB1. I mean, like, reality, like, how are you gonna write a bill and you don't even know how it works? You know what I mean? I mean, quite possibly, y'all don't even know the definition of endogenous. And endogenous is meaning that you start with it. You have it from the creator. You have it from, it's given to you by God, in the sense that, like, it is the right of humanity to actually use exogenous cannabinoid to actually release the natural anandamide that mammals produce. It's really not that complicated. It's just people have the wrong vision about how the science of actually getting efficacy from cannabinoids. You know, like when you were younger, you'd always thought, you know, and some people, their first time ever experienced any type of product was when they tried smoking a joint when they were younger. And that visualization was simply inhaling it and the smoke going in, and you thought that, like, essentially these receptors in your lungs uptake that the resin in the smoke, and that was how it got into the bloodstream. That's not true. What's happening is that the THC within the hemp modulate the release of the endogenous anandamide, and this is what uptakes to the CB1 and CB2, CB1 being the nervous system, CB2 being the immune system. And this is how the way it uptakes is that the anandamide is actually uptaked through the modulation from uptaking the THC, which is something that, like, really should be understood, not only by the legislators, but by medical science. And, you know, I know that medical science isn't interested in this because it's not patentable. They need to maintain a good clientele and customer base. Just imagine if hemp was used in everything, there would be no inflammation. And, like, every doctor would agree, a body without inflammation, it has no disease. We need to make some changes in the sense that we need to protect the right of all humans and all mammals, and we need to really try to elevate the conversation with the Texas Senate and the Texas House to educate them. These are things that we should not be banning, and we need to have a higher conversation. Secondly, we need to stop with the fictitious claims, meaning that you're going to tell me that I'm selling to children. I'm not. And essentially, I don't know of anybody that is, because, as I said before, nobody's going to risk their license and their livelihood and sell to a child. And so your claims are unsubstantiated. Also, you say that we're marketing and targeting children with dangerous products. This is not true. And again, I can't speak to the black market. I know that there's a lot of gas stations that don't have a license, and probably you should start there. That should be what's put into Senate Bill 3, is the banning of illegal hemp sellers. So you don't have to rug pull a whole industry and placate to the medical monopoly that's lobbying. So we need to elevate the conversation, protect the rights of all citizens of Texas. This is a PSA to everyone that we cannot ban hemp-derived THC. We can't destroy 7,000 small businesses and 60,000 employees' livelihoods. It won't be good. Just imagine, like, do you actually think, you know, if like over 80% of everyone, you know, they want cannabis legal. How long do you think it's going to take before like the voting's going to reflect that? Because I mean, I guess if you look at the metrics, they've got away with it for 94 years, but I really think this is the pivotal point, is Texas Senate Bill 3. Really, it's happening everywhere, and I find it highly interesting. Gavin Newsom, right? He's talking about like, yeah, they're selling that dangerous products, hemp, and they're selling targeting the children. It's the same talking point, which, you know, reminds me of a project I heard about. It was called Operation Mockingbird. I recommend you look it up. These characters, these appeal to authority come up and say, like, for the lobby's sake, they're like, yeah, they're selling dangerous products. Unsubstantiated claims. They're selling to children. Unsubstantiated claims. It's just a ruse to basically placate to achieve the ultimate goal, which is take the $9 billion in revenue that the hemp industry generated and hand it over to people that aren't from Texas, multi-state operators. They're Ivy League though. They're highly educated. When they talk about growing, they don't call it growing. They say plant touching opportunity. Isn't that funny? We need to protect hemp. Hemp is one of the most important things in America. What jobs are going to be left after AI? Not everybody can be a robot polisher. What's going to be left here? Like, is everybody going to be a robot polisher and take pharmaceuticals or drink alcohol, take all the toxic protocols and not do plant-based therapies, or even take in consideration endogenous systems that like were given to you by your creator? This is a violation of human rights. It's also, comparably speaking, like communism. Communism, from what I understand, is like where put the power in the hands of a few. You basically give people limited access to things that they need. It's a lack of the freedom of choice. And so Senate Bill 3 actually is that. It actually kind of has the sentiment of communism, in the sense that like you won't be able to walk into your local community hemp shop and meet with your small business owner who is safety testing everything and trying to bring the cleanest product possible to his community to help those in need. Senate Bill 3, if it passes, all these shops will be closed and people will have to go to the street or the black market. I really don't believe that a lot of people that I know, the constant theme is the reason why they come here is because they don't trust the medical system. I don't think that $9 billion is really going to translate over to the medical monopoly program. Number one, they don't even sell what anybody wants, and my proof of that is that they did $2 million last year, $4 million in 2023, versus hemp doing $9 billion in 2024 and $8 billion in 2023. Like I said again, they have 9 billion reasons to try to take this industry out. I think it's wrong, and I think that whoever votes for this bill and bans this, I think that voters this time, they're paying attention, man. I've never seen such a response before about the seriousness of like keeping hemp-derived THC legal in Texas. So I would tell you that say no to Senate Bill 3. You can Google who's my rep. You can put in your zip code and you'll pull up all your senators and reps. And then you call them. When you call them, they'll be like, Senator such and such, office, how can I help you? The receptionist. And you'll be like, can I speak to Senator such and such? He's not available right now. And then the next statement you'll be is that, well, can you let him know that hemp-derived THC, and tell him how it helps you? Tell him that I just wanted to mark down for me that as a constituent in your district, absolutely no to SB 3. No to Texas SB 3. Thank you.
Directing people to